Hey y'all, this is Jacolia of Jacolia Gems. Thank you for once again coming back home, family. For those of you that happen to be new here, welcome. I definitely hope that you hear something today that will persuade you to stay. Now, if you have not already done so, exactly what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment down below, share it to your social media platforms. So y'all, I'm gonna jump straight into today's video, and I am cooking, so that is the noise that you will hear in the background. So quickly, according to the title, this video is about Andrea Kelly. And so as she stated, she had an interview today with Carlos King, and her name is pronounced Andrea. But as she stated in the interview, she said everybody from the West Side called her Drea. So I'm just letting you know, I'm going to call her Drea. Because that's what we have always called her. She said that she don't care about it because here in Chicago, if your name is Andrea, most of the people say Andrea. And, you know, it's an accent thing. It's not a disrespect thing. So I watched her interview, and I want to say my Elohim. Okay, so here in the city of Chicago, anybody that says that they were not aware of the fact that R.Kelly was known to be with underage women, I mean, everybody wouldn't know because everybody's not outside. Everybody ears into the street. If you are ignorant to it today, then you are just in denial. Okay, so there's a McDonald's here called the Hard Rock Cafe. And R.Kelly would be at the Hard Rock Cafe. It's downtown. And he would be down there a lot. And a lot of high school students would be there. They have also said that he would be at the one over by Kenwood. And Kenwood is a high school. Kenwood is Kenwood has one of the best gospel choirs in the city of Chicago. Hands down. So Kenwood is very, very, very decorated when it comes to their concert singing. When I was in the All-City Elementary Youth Chorus and we was going on tour and stuff, we actually sang against Kenwood. We washed them up, but we were a professional choir. So she began to share. First of all, if you got any common sense, nobody should feel some type of way about ex-wife keeping her last name. That's literally her last name and her children's last name. As a mom, my children have my father's last name. All three of our last names is Holiday. That's the house they were born in. That's my last name. That's the last name that they have. As a married woman, her children carried the name that was given to her first. And she said for her, if all of them got the fame and a fortune and a good via Kelly, why would she drop her last name and tell her children, nah, y'all got to go through this as Kelly alone. I'm not a Kelly no more. Y'all just in it by y'allself. See, we don't think. And for me, that conversation has always been pretty stupid. Do y'all know how much it takes to change a name? And if she already clearly has businesses under this name. And she also spoke to the fact that having a last name opens doors. And not the type of doors that y'all are thinking. The type of doors so that she could come on CNN and different platforms and open up the eye to domestic violence so that we can understand what red flags are. And she's needed. She is highly needed. The way that Drea has healed, that's what y'all see. And for her, she said, F y'all. And I'm going to say it too. F y'all. She has healed to the point where she is able to recognize the difference between Robert Kelly, who she was married to, who became a monster, versus R.Kelly, who is the artist that she is able to still see in her children. her 3 children who look just like that man. Her son, that according to her, has his father's tone and tenor when he begins to sing, every rip and every run. Her daughter, we've clearly heard her come out and sing. And then the daughter, Blue, she plays different instruments without even being taught. So for her, the genius of the man that she loved is very much so evident in her children. And I can fully understand it. When I look at my children, I let them know, oh, your dad does this and your dad does that. Oh, you get that from your dad. Yeah, this good part, that good part. You can't have black and white thinking. And because Andrea does not have black and white thinking towards R.Kelly, and she refuses to see him as all bad, people are upset, and it's sickening. She said, how are you upset about my healing and about what the Most High will do? See, I empathize with her in a way, and I understand, because she grew up in a household with her strict Baptist, Southern Baptist, I want to know, they had to be full gospel Baptist because she speaks in tongues, right? She got filled with the Ruach HaKodesh at a very young age before she got baptized. Same, sis. Same. I was at home at 4 years old after being touched by cousins, and my mind is confused, and I'm heartbroken, and I'm having these dreams and these nightmares and these cravings, and it was just so much going on, but I knew how to pray. Why? Because I had a praying mother. I watched my mother walk, and I watched my mother pray. I even watched her mother pray. I ain't talked to her in I don't know how long. She's a praying woman. She would get up at 4 o'clock every morning, and I would hear my grandma Alma in the bathroom. That was her prayer closet, and she'd go in there and she would pray. So Andrea began to say that she grew up in a household dynamic with an abusive pastor. And that's oh my God. Y'all, I'm sorry. That's a totally different plight. Her grandfather was a preacher on Sunday and on Wednesdays for Bible study. And, I'm just making up the dates. And, I'm sure it was probably conventions and traveling, because when she began to speak on her grandfather, who came to rescue her one night, she began to see exactly how plugged in he was in the judicial system. I ain't accusing Papa or nothing, but can we please talk about Freemasonry in the Black Church? The AME Black Church that was built and founded in Mount Bayou, Mississippi, by the Knights and Daughters of Talbot, who came into Chicago, came into St. Louis. Well, came from St. Louis, I believe, to found it. So when we began to think about that, right? So she's used to being around men of power that are abusive. She says she'll never forget, between the age of 6 and 8, she hears and she runs down the stairs, and what she sees is her grandfather, CHOKING, her grandmother, and banging her head back and forth against glass. And that's what she heard. She heard the glass shattering and telling her grandma, don't you know I will knock you out. Her grandfather. At the age of 6, 7, 8 years old. Her grandfather. Her grandfather, y'all. She begins to say that, and see, I think Dre is cute. She is so cute to me. She normally has her dancer bun in, and today she had her hair down, and it was flowing. We ain't bald head here in Chicago, okay? I'm just letting y'all know, when the drapists be draping, and when it be full, and when it hit that shoulder length, baby, okay? So she said that was even out of her comfort zone. Why? Because she's a ballerina. She's a jazz dancer. She's a liturgical dancer. And when the Most High anoints you with something as skilled as Drea, She has no formal training. Her turnout is immaculate. Her first position and second position and third position, her plies. They are amazing. The way she points her feet and the way that she dances from her core to keep them abs nice and tucked. So you're talking to another dancer here. So when I see her, I clap. I clap. I champion. Anything less would be hatred of self. And when we begin to down other black women and their situations, we operate in a spirit of piety. And I want to let y'all know something that my late mother began to tell me. She told my sisters this. She told the young women at the church this, because, you know, my mama was the first lady. Hey, Daddy. My mama was the first lady, right? And my mother would teach us, never say what you won't do, because that will be the very thing that you find yourself doing. How many of y'all grandfathers was touching on y'all mamas and y'all aunties? How many of y'all grandfathers and y'all uncles were abusive and drunks and are the unsafe uncles in the family? How many of y'all fathers were abusive and abandoned? And, like, you know, so Drea began to say that her own mother was her abuser. So when you women begin to pick apart her physicality, I gotta sneeze, y'all. Woo! 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 Bless me. Hallelujah. Thank you, Abba. Because every time you sneeze, your heart stops. So when her mother would look at her and hit her in her face, the thing that she has to go represent the world with, she sought to damage it. And she began to identify her mom as a narcissist, which groomed her for the behavior with R.Kelly. I want to begin to say I agree with her, just based off of that simple assessment. You know, I was going to school for my double major in nursing and psychology, and talking to my therapist. She was like, "You sure you ain't finished your doctorate in this thing?" I want to say that as a young woman who was sexually groomed by older women in my family, everybody was turned out. These older ones, though, I just be like, you know what I'm saying? So one of the women, and this is another reason why I think I'm going to end up doing a video about Krishan Rock and her sister Tashiki. So one of the women that was very abusive to me when I was growing up, I used to have to fight a lot. And Drea is about 4'11", maybe about 115, 125. You know, she's small. But she said that she fight like a big dude. And I don't doubt her. I don't doubt her at all. When you are born and raised in Chicago, and she's from the South Side, I'm from out West. So I don't even fully know. I know it's tough. I know that it's Chicago. And when you on the South Side, you dealing with them Indianimals and them Kentuckians and them St. Louisville people, you know? They don't always come out West. Now, we got the Mississippians and the Alabamians, and you know what I'm saying? But it's Chicago. So, growing up, the woman who abused me, who I identify as a female narcissist, and after I got finished talking about her with my therapist, yikes. She would tell me, because girls would always want to fight me, pick with me. Drea said she went through the same thing. Why? Because she was cute and little. I was 4'11". I'm 5'2.5" now. Well, at least the last time I got measured. I was 4'11". But see, I was a thick with something. I was a size 10. Even though I was only 127 pounds, that's obese for being 4'11", but see, I always been thick. I always had some meat on me. And when you got clear skin and back-length hair and you can dance, that's not popular in Chicago, because now the teachers love you and the dance instructors love you and the concert courses love you and the cheerleading coach love you and the majorette team love you and the star basketball players and the star football players, and you garner all of this attention that you didn't even want. You just wanted to dance. And I know this because I was a dancer. I had to dance at talent shows. I had to dance at Amundsen Park dance battles against other camps. When my parents, even when they weren't booked for a ministry engagement, I would be booked with my older sister to dance. And sometimes we would have to dance and sing in the same service. Then there would be sometimes I would have to dance, sing, and preach in the same service. I choreographed for Whitney Young majorette team. So like that's something totally different. When you could dance salsa, bachata, merengue, samba, like liturgical, jazz, ballet, hip hop. When you are highly gifted and highly anointed, as she stated, that comes from the Most High. So for her to fully reject the talent of who R.Kelly is, that would be rejecting the anointing and the gift and the call that comes without repentance upon his life, by which her children are able to eat. So she said, of course I'll say stream his music. That's my kid's child support. Are you dumb? Of course, my children have to eat. Why wouldn't she want her children to be able to eat? So when this woman would tell me, you have to stop fighting, because I come home, I wouldn't have no bruises. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I wouldn't have no bruises. But my face, I look like I got into a cat fight. They scratched my face, but mostly they'll have to get to my neck, because I cover my face real good, but my knuckles are bleeding and swollen. And my mom and daddy got to put steaks and bags of vegetables on my hand and run me Epsom salt baths, because they know for a fact when she wake up tomorrow, she not going to be able to move. Because when I fought unto, like, for me, I was fighting for my life. And this is what begins to happen when you have somebody that's been through trauma. So when you are being raised and groomed by a female narcissist, and so when I got older, the same woman who told me that people only wanted to fight me to scratch my face because they were jealous, when we got grown, she turned around and scratched my face. I said, oh, this is how you've been feeling all along. Female narcissism in the black family dynamic runs very rampant. And when you are being raised and grown around narcissistic, emboldened people whom have a high power of resource themselves, it opens you up. It's also very important to know that Drea was not looking to be famous. She just wanted to dance. And she was a principal dancer, darling. Okay? And so she was told about R.Kelly's audition, and for her, that was beneath her. She's a principal trained dancer. Well, self-trained, because when she began to go to the professional dance schools, they would ask her mama, wow, who's her principal? Who's her this and who's her that? And her mama would be like, no, that's all her. So when she went to go audition, Drea was 19 years old. So when we name the victims, why isn't Drea named amongst the victims? She was 19, he was 26. And I don't care what none of y'all get under here and say, 19 is a child. It literally has the word teen in it. For me, anything under the age of 30 is still a child. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, that's a stretch. I'm gonna tell you why, right? At 25, your frontal lobe is not even fully developed. Some scientists actually say at the age of 40 it begins to happen, which makes sense because I'm 38 and I'm just now feeling like I'm almost grown. I'm all, you know. And then I've heard from some cousins, once they turn 40, they realize like, dang, I still ain't got it. Because there is so much to life that we have not begun to ascertain. At the age of 26 under Obamacare, when I was dying from cancer and everything else, I was doubly, excuse me, these seasonings, y'all. I was doubly insured because my mom and dad were still able to have me on their insurance, excuse me. Bless me, hallelujah. If your parent can still take out a Parent Plus loan for you, you are school aged. All through college, that's school aged. So 19 years old and 26 is nasty to me. And so she said that she's sick and tired of people talking about. She saw people coming in and out and she was helping with this and helping with that. She said, how I'm going to do that when I'm locked in a room myself? How am I going to help him make people a victim when I can't even help myself? I have 3 kids. And she said that it was bad to the point where this is how he grown you. Well, you're going to end up starting off locked in a room. And he going to leave the door open to test you. And you leave out the room. She said that the punishment for leaving out of that room would be so bad that if he left the room door open, you would not leave out because you remembered what he did to you. She said, so when Sparkle began to say that you had to ask to go to the bathroom and you had to ask for something to eat, oh, it was real. This woman said, some of this is a little triggering for me because there's a lot of realization that I had to have after the last relationship that I was in. And that a lot of women and men have gone through as well. She said that when she was in therapy and she was describing certain things to her therapist was like, you know that's spousal RAPE, right? And she was like, what are you talking about? That was my husband. And she said, no. That's assault. And assault comes by coercion when they break you down. When they physically take it from you, mentally, like just really break you down. And she's been forced into threesomes. She said she's been hog-tied, blindfolded, when she wouldn't know if it was a man or a woman coming in the room to do whatever to her. She shared her story. And she wrote a book. And in her book, she begins to talk to us and tell us a lot of the signs that we miss a cunning man versus a charming man. These are things that we are not taught and we are not shown. Because unfortunately, a lot of us are raised around cunning men. Men who do acts of service and acts of kindness. And she said that he knew she was abused. They trauma bond. He shared with her that he was 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. I was talking to my daughter the other day. I said people like R.Kelly and, you know, they need mental health care. To me, more than they need prison. Yeah, keep them. But get them in a mental health care facility. Because when you are with somebody that powerful, people don't take into consideration the fear for your life that you have to have. She had no access to money. So when you women are in relationships and you got a man just handing you your money, you're being controlled and you're being manipulated and you just think that you're living the best life. No. Because if he walks out and he leaves you today, the job market ain't what it used to be. So you just thinking that you just going to come out and go right back to work. But you've been sitting up on your do nothing all these years and letting the man completely take care of you. Not understanding the different levels of financial abuse. Yes, men do provide. A wise woman should always have some type of savings and emergency funds. She begins to say that if you're a woman and you're in an abusive marriage or relationship or cohabitation, whatever it is, to have two escape plans. To tell your family, because your family can't help you with what they do not know about. She's also working to try to get some laws passed with Congress because her children have severe allergies and asthma and their doctors are in Illinois. And in order to get nebulizer medication and an EpiPen, it has to have a doctor prescription, and majority of the doctors want to see you, and they will not just fill or give you a prescription without knowing your medical history. So there have been times when she had to try to sneak back to Chicago just to make sure that her children had the medicine that they needed, in fears that the doctor could call and be like, yeah, she here. Like, y'all don't know how deep this goes. I'm going to give y'all an example. So, I'm going to share this just based off of personal experience. I've been seeing lately where this one video vixen, model, you know, being into it with somebody that was her associate, her friend, actually, who's a model, about this guy, right? My personal experience with this guy in the same time frame as them, 2009, I had been knowing him ever since 2005, so I'm grandfathered in, and they was just D-riding. I'm out, and during the time, I'm a socialite here in Chicago. I am, like, I ain't even gonna lie, this was before the REs and those, because I'm older than her, right? And this was before, I'm not gonna say before people started getting paid to do club appearances, because that's not fully true. I got free bottle service, VIP service. I would get in for free. My girls would get in for free. Like, I just, yeah. So I'll never forget. I was at this I was at this nightclub called Crush. This was 2009. And I'm on the riser, right? By the DJ booth. And the security started clearing people off of the stage, because it's like, you know, a riser. It's a stage right in front of the dance floor. And they were like, move, move, move. I'm like, who the hell coming here? But I'm not moving. So the DJ started laughing. And I was like, can I get in the booth with you? And he was like, yeah. Now, y'all know DJs do not be like, it's a real booth. Like, so I'm in the booth with him, and security looking at me, and they started laughing. They was like, we knew you weren't moving. Because I'm like, I don't care who coming. So next thing you know, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah. I don't know if Taj was there tonight, but I think Taj was there. But I know Joakim and Derrick was there. And so Pooh was there with his brothers, whatnot, right? And so I step out the DJ booth, mind you. So this young woman dancing all on Pooh, doing her thing, but I'm laughing because of the way he looking at her. And I'm dancing by myself, like, I am the vibe. So my homie, I was there with Vita, and I was there with Octavia. And they standing right in front of the stage, right? And so I'm looking at them, and they dancing, they having fun. You know, they got their drinks in their hand. We woo. So something ended up transpiring, but not that. But, something ended up transpiring, whatever. So the very next night, while I'm back on my way out with Octavia, this is a baby-free weekend. We are going to, Victor Hotel on Lake and Saginaw. And this is when Sean Mack was DJing. And that's when Sean knew who I was. I don't go outside no more. This is Sean Mack DJing, right? So literally, we're getting out of the car. And my phone rang. And I'm like, hold on. Bae calling me. And I said his name. And she was like, okay. So I said, hey, Bae. He said, don't hey, Bae, but me. I said, huh? Like, what? What you doing? And I was like, I'm with Octavia. Well, tell Octavia to bring her back to the car. Because both of y'all got me. O was with you last night? Y'all, I said, yeah, I was with O and V. He was like, right, tell O to come back. So I put the phone on mute and I was like, oh, he know. And she was like, I told you. And I was like, no, I told you because of what had transpired. I was like, whoa, hold up. Yikes. Whoa. So he called her back to the car and he went off. And he tells me, you think I don't have eyes on you everywhere you go? And I don't know what you do and I don't know who you know, even in your city? You can't date or talk to no basketball player, no football player without me knowing. Oh, you thought that rap niggas was just off of... Hold on, like... How? Out of all the people in Chicago, how would him and his team know who I lead back to? Right? So that was her husband, who's from Chicago. This man not even from the United States. So until y'all have been with powerful, possessive, crazy men, you won't understand what certain things are like. It's the fact for me that about a year ago, my kids trying to go outside and they like, Mom, we can't go outside. It's a man out here. I need you to come take a look. And it was an older, black, wealthy-looking gentleman who had no business in this neighborhood. Big old, beautiful pit bull with a Freemason hat on, standing right outside of my house on the phone, like directly in front of my house, in front of my door, on the phone. And I said, huh. And this is following a young woman pulling up to the side of my house to try to burn my front yard down. There are so many other things that I can state and I can go into. But once people have eyes on you, it's very hard to go undetected. So I personally believe Drea is very necessary for the healing and the transparency of the black community. These young women out here chasing bags and wanting to be with famous men and rich men and all of these other things. You don't know what it is that you ask for. You have no idea what you asked for. So for me personally, that interview was very sobering. She stated that when her daughter called her screaming, asking her to come pick her up, she didn't know exactly what happened to her child. But because of the custody battle, mind you, the courts had already given her a restraining order that her granddaddy helped her get. Yet she was still forced to send her kids over there. So when her daughter called her screaming and crying, telling her to come get her, she goes to the police station and the police tell her, ma'am, you can't go get her. And if you go over to his house and he shoots you, he'll be well within his right because of the custodial agreement. So can we stop saying we love black women and protect black women until black women fall at the hands of our favorite musicians and actors and all of these other things. Because me personally, as a woman from the west side of Chicago, I've never seen Drea as anything but what she stated in that interview. And there was some people in the comments being very egregious, but I'm going to tell you, it was a whole bunch more in them checking them black women, telling them y'all nasty, y'all mean, y'all ain't listening, what about, you know. So Drea has a support system. It's just, it's sick and it's sad when we lack so much empathy and so much sympathy for what other people have gone through. R.Kelly was never on my playlist. My daddy did not allow us to listen to him, like, at all. But I'm going to tell y'all this. When this whole Surviving Trey Songz thing drop, I'm going to need y'all to keep me lifted. Because I know it's coming. But Trey, that he was definitely on my playlist. I made life-changing money to that man's music. I had some very, very, very good times, and it's just sick and it's sad. And this is why I don't really be listening to no music, because hey, it's all demonic at the end of the day. I just wanted to come in and summarize her video, her interview, as well as share some of my personal experience with a rich and powerful man, because I couldn't, you know, he ain't allowed no experiences with no other men. So, yeah, y'all. It get real sticky. And Chicago, as big as it is, it's not that big at all. And in Olympia Fields, where Robert's house is, his house is pushed back. You don't have to run a while to even access them gates. And then where Olympia Fields, that's where all the download brothers at from the Pentecostal church go to frequent. If you don't believe me, ask me how I know. Y'all, that's something that the young preachers used to start doing when we would start talking crazy, specifically about this type of stuff. So, I also want y'all to know, this is another first-handed thing I can't fully go into because I did sign an NDA. But the way that studio is set up, there's only one way in and one way out. You're going to have to get buzzed up on the elevator. And whoever's sitting at that front desk, when you get upstairs, they don't want you to be buzzed out. You're not getting out. This is Jacoya.